Welcome to Read the Book First, a book to movie adaptation podcast. Today, returning to discuss today's film and book is Alyssa.
My name is Alyssa. I'm from Stories and Spoilers, the podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yes, I'm so happy you're back. Alyssa and I have done, read a book, two books?
Yeah, I think
We've done
so.
two books on the pod last season, so I'll definitely link those below. Go check them out. Today's episode's a little bit different because we're talking about a short film that was turned into a book and
Yeah.
also a TV show and also another book.
Yes, I haven't seen the TV show yet, but I saw the short film. It came out 6 years ago and it
Hmm.
like blew up on Facebook and social media.
Hmm.
And the cover art of like the thumbnail was this beautiful little black girl with like a large fro.
Hmm.
And I was just like, ooh, finally.
Hmm.
Besides Princess Tiana from Pixar and Disney, I'd
Yeah.
never seen anything like this before, or like
Yeah.
Proud Family.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it was
gosh, I
enchanting.
love Proud Family. I haven't thought about
Yeah,
Proud Family for a hot minute. I
I
just had a
love it.
flashback. Anyways,
Yeah, you have to like think about usually black
yeah.
characters are either like the sidekicks or in more
Hmm.
like adult television when you have like the dramas or
Hmm.
you have those like 90s shows like A Different World. So this was one of those like short films where I was like, please let it not be steeped in trauma. Like let it be wholesome, let it be
Hmm.
bright.
Black Joy.
Yes, black
Hmm.
joy. And there's a lot of politics that's linked to black hair, what's
Yes.
professional, what's appropriate for school. It's just a
Hmm.
lot. So I was
Hmm.
excited to see where they went with it, and rewatching it now that I'm older, I just have a deeper appreciation for it. So I'm excited to talk
Yeah.
about it with you.
I love the short form. We're talking about Hair Love today, the 2019 short film. Just some background info on the short film. It was created by Matthew A. Cherry, who set out he was played in the NFL for a while and then he switched over to the film world. He's a director and producer mostly, besides the short film. But he wanted to purposely make a book that kind of counteracted the stereotypes that a lot of Black fathers have, especially in America. And uh, that's what inspired the creation of this film. And then also, we can talk a little bit later about the Crown Act and stuff, but that also added to his inspiration. And this was originally a Kickstarter funded short film
Wow.
in 2017 it went on there and it was it's still to this day the biggest amount of money given to a short film on Kickstarter. It got over $300,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's really I was rewatching the video, which you can get on YouTube right now for free. Go watch it. If you've not watched it, go take 6 minutes of your time. You will cry of happiness and just good vibes. It's so important. Anyways, go watch it, viewers. But it shows all the Kickstarter backers, and I like was just barely paying attention, and I saw Cynthia Erivo was one of the backers, and I was like, "Girl, what's she doing here?"
It's the meme where like she holds her hand back and she's like,
Uh-huh.
"Whoa!" It's the same feeling you get when you find out that like Whitney Houston produced Cinderella, the
Yes,
OG with
yes.
Brandy.
I just
Like
recently rewatched that.
so good,
Oh,
one of my
so
favorite
good.
comfort movies of all time.
Hmm.
It's just amazing seeing Black directors, actors, producers constantly
Hmm.
supporting projects that don't directly like have their name on it. They just do it out of the
Yes.
kindness of their heart. I think that's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. I know Lupita Nyong'o also wrote a
Yes.
children's book.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here, I'm like, I might need to add that to my TBR.
Yeah.
And we were just saying it before we started
Yeah.
recording. You're never too old
Yes.
to enjoy these stories.
I love getting picture books. When I go to the library, I go and get my holds that I have on hold. I go and usually get something from the new section, and then I go either to the middle grade section because I teach middle school, so I'm always like, what's happening in this area? Or I'm like, I'm gonna go choose three random picture books, and I don't count the picture books on Goodreads. You can if you want to cheat code to get your book numbers up for the year, but like, go get a picture book. Like they make me tear up, and I don't have children of my own.
I think it's
Like,
wholesome though to do that. Like I also
yeah.
saw the photo shoot you did where it was like you guys were dressed like the frogs.
Yeah, Totem Frog.
It was so cute.
Yes.
You and your partner, I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
I think you can appreciate stories that are geared maybe towards children, like the initial audience was children, but
Yes.
the storyline and the metaphors and even just like the hopefulness of it all,
Hmm.
I don't think there's an age limit on that at all. I know
Yeah.
a lot of adults who read young adult stories, who
Hmm.
read, lots of YA. As long as your heart is like pure in that and you're just doing it for the enjoyment, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
And this short film for me, like it was emotional. The first shot of the film alludes to something I did not pay attention to the first time I saw it years
Mm-hmm.
ago. And now as an
Mm-hmm.
adult encountering similar things, I'm like, oh, not the
Mm-hmm.
tears. It was like the first few minutes I was like, oh, but
Yeah. It's
I also
so good.
it is
Ugh.
so good. I also wanted to say I'm a big fan of like animation. I grew up watching like Coraline, Bolt, Proud Family, all of that stuff. And the animator for Hair Love was Matthew A. Cherry,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was super, super cool. So I don't know. In my heart of hearts, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, everyone who had to take part in order for this to become a reality is so cool. And the fact that the
Mm-hmm.
animator director and writer is also black is just even
Yes.
cooler. Like,
Yeah.
so yes, and I don't know. There's so many moments where I'm looking at like the animation. And I'm like, is that this product? Are they alluding to this real life product? And yes, I all those bottles, all the little animated
Yeah.
bottles. I was like, yep. My mom and I used to walk through like CVS
Yeah.
and try to find the
Uh-huh.
right products for me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very wholesome to me. I was like, oh, this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love this. Obviously, it's a not obvious. Well, actually, yes, obviously. It won the Oscar in 2020 for Best Animated Short. So, yes, obviously, officially, it's a fantastic piece of art. But also, I teach middle school English, and I love showing usually Pixar shorts to talk about like character growth or plot diagrams, just it's short, we can get it done in one class period. And when this came out in 2019, it was my first year teaching here in Virginia, and I taught at that time at a predominantly Black school. And so I saw this and I came out, I was like, okay, this is one new. The kids haven't seen it a billion times. Like everyone's seen that chess Pixar game 1,000 times, right? Or
true.
the birds on the line. We've all seen that. So I was
Yes.
like, okay, it's new. Two, I was like, cool, it's characters that they will relate to. And like I put it on and I watched it myself, figure out the assignment, and I put it on the first time with my first class. And the kids who like the kid in the back, we all had a class clown that just like could not focus. He was sat and he was taking the most amount of notes. And at the end of that class period, he came up to me. He goes, "That was the best thing I've ever seen, Miss Albertson." And I was like, I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
representation is so important. And like, as someone who's, you know, grew up saying that and understanding that in a not necessarily I mean, in my own personal ways with my own personal life experience, right? I see, like, I always look for characters in animation that are not like super skinny because that's not how I interact with the world. That's not how I'm seen or perceived, etc. And so I've always understood that as an idea, but it really wasn't until watching my 12 and 13-year-olds that first time I was showing it to them and the first time they saw it, and I was like, okay, we're going full force to this. Like it was like, yes, I believe this. And now I'm like, no, I know this,
It's
you
so
know?
important. You don't
Yes.
realize you don't have representation until you don't realize you don't have representation. Like
Mm-hmm.
plus size characters and stories. I didn't see that till Dumpling. That
Mm-hmm.
was the first book I ever read.
I
I was
love
like,
dumpling.
ooh.
Girl, we
And
should
then
do
it
that for the
became a
pod.
movie. I was like, I love Dumpling. Should we
We
do
should do that.
Dumpling?
Side note. Okay. I'm writing that down later.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, should we double stuffed pizzas, cutie patooties do Dumpling? I think we should. Hot take.
Yes.
I have a vision. I feel like Scorsese. There's a meme where he's like, masterpiece. That's how I feel. I'm like, I have a vision.
Ah.
There are just so many books that I'm like, for someone, they may think like, oh, the writing was not that great or the storyline was kind of simple. But for someone else, it's like they caught a message from that or they felt seen. Where it's like, no, that story doesn't have to be like a Wuthering Heights. It doesn't have to be this like super deep, the curtains mean this kind of tale. Those stories are important. But I also think that like the first story you read at a young age, I think we can all agree. We can remember one storybook we read where it's like you don't realize the metaphors until you got older. For some people, that
Yes.
was Winnie the Pooh. For some people, that was The Giving Tree. I know that was impactful to me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get things until you get older, and
Mm-hmm.
even give a mouse a cookie. So it's one of those things where you gain all these lessons, and sometimes you don't see them until later in life. And I think that with Hair Love, at least rewatching it before we dive into it, your appearance is so important in the way you walk in the world. Certain things you can change and certain things you realize you begin to love about yourself and you don't necessarily want to change. It is up to you. For some people, like when their weight fluctuates, they have a complex relationship with that. With some people, their natural hairstyle or their texture, they may have complex feelings about that. They may feel social pressures because of that. And I know lots of women who spend a lot of money to make their hair look a certain way because they are getting to places professionally because of their personal life. And for me, being natural, be it having braids or a fro or whatever, if I support my friends who buy bundles and they go through all these things. It doesn't matter if you buy the hair, it doesn't matter if you shampoo and twist it. It is yours, and how you celebrate it and the time and effort and love that goes into it is so unique to every person. Men, women, folks, everybody presents themselves in different ways and should have the freedom to do that across cultures. But there's just a certain level of vulnerability within the Black community with that. And this short film to me showed a lot of care and respect and love to young Black girls, and I do think sometimes they are ignored. We have dozens of Disney princesses who are Caucasian, and we
Uh-huh.
have only a handful who are like Asian, Black. Like the diversity is not great. Like one character, and they're like, be
Mm-hmm.
happy with your single character. Back to Cinderella, and not the Brandy version. And
Oh,
it's just, yeah, it's I'm grateful for more. We
yes.
all deserve more,
Yes.
so that's my like heartfelt message to all the people out there listening. Like,
Mm-hmm.
depending on whatever culture you come from, age, you should watch the short film. You should give yourself a hug or hug
Mm-hmm.
someone you love, because you're the way you take care of yourself and the way you provide time to your appearance is a form, I think, of self-care. It's not vain. I think it's fundamental towards taking care of yourself. And if you had the opportunity to have a parent kind of guide you through that, it makes the process a lot easier. And if you don't have a parent to do that,
Mm-hmm.
a close friend, a grandparent, an aunt, and uncle,
Mm-hmm.
and in this case, she does pull out an iPad in this film to try to show herself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's okay to ask for help. It is a challenge. I am 27, almost 28, and there are times when I have to like drop everything for a minute, and I hear the meme where it's like, do it, just do it, and I just want to shave it all off, which is fine, but I don't think I have the head for that. I think I have a weird egg-shaped
That's what
head.
I say too. I'm like, one day I feel like I could go full, like, shave it all off, Sinead O'Connor, style.
Yeah,
But like, I don't know. I feel like I might have a lump on the top of my head.
you can't go back. Some
And you
people
can't
can
go
pull it
back.
off.
I mean,
Some people can pull it off. I don't think I'm one of those
I don't
people.
know either.
I
Yeah,
don't. There's nowhere
this
to hide.
what I love about this 6-minute short film is one, like stylistically, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Two, I love that the characters don't speak. Like any of the recording is on the iPad. Like it's a diegetic noise within the world. I
Mhm.
love that, especially as a teacher, because I'm like, look at no one's saying anything, but how do we know what kind of person they are, guys? Like I get in my full teacher mode of that. And I love it because, like, obviously, it is about hair. It's about self, like, love and acceptance and exploration. But there's also so much else going on
Yeah.
in this short that every time I watch it, and I've watched it a ton because I taught it almost every year. I've taught, which means a lot. Um, I just rewatched it, an hour ago, and I'm still just like, this, like,
It's so
it's
good.
so good. Like,
It's
it's
so
so
good.
good. The music is so good.
It
It,
makes me want to watch, like, it's gonna sound strange. It makes me want to watch Bluey. I've been recommended Bluey.
you not
I know
watched it yet?
I have not watched Bluey yet, but I have been told that adults can watch it, that it tackles some topics that are kids may not know in the moment, but it like helps segue conversations. And Hair Love helps segue conversations about unique parenting, about
Mm-hmm.
uh, spoiler alert, about cancer, about self-care, about patience
Mm-hmm.
and not giving up, trying again.
Mm-hmm.
I will say there are times when the world becomes very like overstimulating. The older I get, the more I'm able to communicate, like, hey, I'm getting kind of overwhelmed. As you know,
Exactly.
in any academic situation and any professionals,
Mm-hmm.
you have to hold it together. But in your
Mm-hmm.
personal life, you can admit, like, hey, my social battery is kind of low, or hey, I'm getting a little
Yeah.
overwhelmed. In Hair Love, there is a moment
Yeah.
where you can tell they're getting overwhelmed. I I went from relating to the little girl to relating to the dad. Like
Hmm.
in the sense of like you're getting overwhelmed. There's a kid who like needs your help. If you've ever had a younger sibling, if you worked in education, there are moments when you're like, oh, throw your hands in the air, like, oh my gosh, like I just want this to be
Hmm.
over this moment. Um, I related to that.
Hmm.
Like the tucking the hat over her head, like, oh, I relate to that. Like you are overwhelmed as an adult
Yes.
and this kid needs you for something, but
Hmm.
you are like, I've got a lot on my plate.
Hmm.
um,
Absolutely.
it's human in
Yes.
a world full of AI weird stuff and chaos and the crazy news of the world. It is nice for a second to just be a human who is overwhelmed.
Hmm.
And the problem is not going to solve itself in a day. I'm sure there's a literary word for that. But I'm sitting here, I'm like, conflict resolution, pause it out fast,
There you go.
metaphor. I think that you
Yes.
can rewatch this and learn something new every time,
Hmm.
personally.
Like we can dive into, again, it's a 6 minute short. It doesn't take that
A
long to
lot
go
doesn't
through.
happen, but low
No.
key, a lot also does happen.
Yeah,
So,
it's so good. So, like, I have our main character was this little girl whose name is Zuri, and she's waking up, and you mentioned earlier she has her bonnet on, and then she takes off her bonnet, and then her hair is like, woo, we
her
can
cat like
spread out.
stands up to her
Yeah.
chest. Yes,
Oh,
the first shot you see is like a camera going
yeah.
across her bedroom. You see illustrations of like black women and their hair and like
Mm-hmm.
unicorns, and then you see one illustration of a black woman with no hair. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
And then there's a calendar with a heart on on the day that it is. So we're like, okay, there's something
yes,
special, right?
yes.
Like we're just slowly leading into it. And
Hmm.
the cat, I love him because he's like such a grumpy cat, but he is like he's there for Zuri. He's like, Zuri's my world.
Yes.
Y'all better
Yes.
get in
She
line.
like gets her iPad. She throws on her little ballerina outfit. Her bonnet's still on. For folks who don't know what a bonnet is, I am not talking Little House on the Prairie. I am talking a satin cap, a bonnet, as some people may call it, a chef's hat. It
Hmm.
ends up let her cook. You literally have to put like a satin lined cap on your curls in order to not cause them damage. Um, it's controversial. Some people say that the satin dries your hair out. We'll leave that there. But it's there to protect your hair, and she takes it off. And sometimes your hair shrinks and it doesn't look the way it looked when you put it away. And it poofs up, which is a very real thing. That was
Hmm.
not fiction, that is real.
Hmm.
But it poofs out. She pulls out her little iPad. She goes through all these little videos for a channel called Hair Love, which I
Hmm.
thought was kind of cute. That was
Yeah.
unique. And she sees her like she's swiping through all the images and the cat is like shaking its head like it was like a Coraline moment. The cat is not speaking, but the cat's mannerisms are human like.
They're
um
communicating.
yes, and speaking of the cat, my cat's coming over. His facial expressions are very human like. He's here for every interview, y'all, every single one. um for folks who are not looking at visuals, if you're just listening to everything, it's like a black blob and you just see his tail like in the corner.
He just wants to be
But he just
included.
wants to be included. But
Yeah.
yes, very human. She swipes and she finally finds one video, and it's like top knots, and yeah, she ends up trying to select it.
I love how like we hear the voiceover from the video and then it
Mhm.
quickly shifts right to her hair, like her first attempt. And like anyone who has tried to learn a new hairstyle in the mirror via like what you saw in 17 magazine, here are 3 easy steps to do your hair like this. It never works out. And like I like, even though my hair is not the same texture or curl pattern as hers, like I used to have a lot more thicker more coilier hair when I was a child. I used to like, I remember trying to do cool, fun braids I saw in magazines or like cool buns, and I could never do it because I didn't have the skills, but also like they simplified how to do
Oh,
professional
they
hair,
always do. They make it look
obviously.
so. If you have this spray and
Uh-huh.
you have this specific brush that costs $21,
That you
you
must buy.
and you must buy it. Then you
Uh-huh.
can do this and look like
Mm-hmm.
Gigi Hadid.
Exactly.
Capitalism.
Oh,
Oh.
I mean, that's what it is, man. That's what it is.
That's what it is. I used
Me
to think
cutting
like
out the hairbrushes from 17 magazine and
it's
be like,
not
Mom,
all
I want
capital off of
this.
me. It's capitalism. It's
Yeah.
looking like it's capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the film when she's like trying and then her dad comes in and if I like the small details because if you look in the background the hallway's like a bit messy, there's a laundry basket overturned, like there's so
Yeah.
many small details in this film, like you can tell how much care they put into the animators put into every single thing.
It alludes that he's
Like,
overwhelmed. It alludes that,
yes,
and they're running late.
yes,
So he's like, let's, trying to pick her up so that they can go do the thing. You're not sure
mm-hmm,
what the thing is, but they're running late.
mm-hmm,
And when he opens the door, like her hair is kind of all over the place.
yeah,
There's also a flashback when she like sees the girl in the picture on the iPad, and you're not sure who the woman is, but it alludes to like it being her mom.
mm-hmm,
And you see like her smile. Like I love when people add like try to adapt like memory, like what it would be like to have a memory. So you see the mom smile, you see her like kind of like gelling her hair and like getting it exactly the way she likes as a pink little bow. And she says, like, all I needed was a little bit of effort and a whole lot of love. And I'm just
mm-hmm,
sitting here and I'm like, oh
mm-hmm,
no. I was like, please don't do the Bambi of it all. And everyone knows exactly what I'm talking
uh-huh.
about. I was like, please, she needs to be here. No.
I I love that the whole lot of effort and or whole lot of
I
effort and a little bit of love.
that
It's a
is a
great
quote off the top of
theme
my
for
head.
this because it's
Yes.
talking about obviously the first level is her hair, right?
Mhm.
The second level is the dad and his patients,
Yeah,
right?
the
With
relationship.
uh-huh. And then him being a parent right now, what it looks like currently a single parent. Obviously, it's not in that moment, fully a single
Hmm.
parent. But you got all these deep layers, and then even with himself, because then the little girl Zuri is like, okay, trying to get him to do her hair. And he tries, he's trying to part it. We have this really fun cutaway animation where the hair is literally like fighting with him, and he like wrangles it up with some elastics, and the elastics break and hit in his head. And
Yep.
that's just like so fun to go so like obviously it's a cartoon, but so like fantasy about it.
Yeah,
Like
the
this is
hair
what's
has
this
a
is his
mind of its own.
struggle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and I love that. And then it, goes back to reality and he's like disappointed and like just shut down in the bed. And the girl's just like, Dad, we got it. And he's
Yeah.
like, put a hat on it.
He's overwhelmed. The hair is fighting him in the animation. For anyone who's ever seen, like, this is the child version of the horror film Bad Hair, which was also directed by a black man, where the
Oh,
hair is literally haunted. In that horror film, the hair you see the very first shot, it goes from what we can assume is
uh-huh.
like a dark historical location with like Spanish
Mm-hmm.
moss and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You see it go from one place into the like, packing truck, be packed as weave, cleaned, washed, packaged, and
Mm-hmm.
sold across the United States. And you see the experience of a young black girl getting her hair permed. For anyone who
Mm-hmm.
knows that, it burns. So it's one of those things where this short film is in the light of childhood animation, a father who is trying.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the juxtaposition of a film where a hair is literally also alive.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a black woman go from childhood to perming her hair to change it and literally
Mm-hmm.
having burns, like a traumatic
Mm-hmm.
experience, to now as an adult buying buying hair in order to adapt to a corporate environment where she's chastised for her hair.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with trying different styles. Hair can be challenging to get into certain shapes, into certain ways that you would like that. I think I can go across many different hair types.
Mm-hmm.
The Black diaspora is broad,
Mm-hmm.
and just people's hair like can go through a lot. And when he says like just put a hat over it, I think with this horror film, but also with this wholesome child film, they
Yeah.
kind of come together where it's like to just cover it implies that you're not willing to put in the time and the effort
Mm-hmm.
to a style, put it in a protective hairstyle, invest the money or time, and
Mm-hmm.
overall the love.
Or the
You're just covering
shame.
it. Yeah, even the shame of it is too large, it is too frizzy, it requires trimming. I don't know what to do. I'm just done with it. I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that coming from her father is like a double whammy. Not only is she overwhelmed, now he is too.
Mm-hmm.
And in the film, you literally see her like shrink and like run away, versus that in the I know we talk about it later, the contrasts and comparisons, but what happens in the book and what happens in the film in that moment is different.
Yeah.
I listened to the audiobook as well. The audiobook
Mm-hmm.
was read by Blue Ivy, which is
That's so
crazy.
cute.
It was so cute. And in that moment in the book, it's more like come on, dad, like, don't give
Hmm.
up. And it's done with a
Hmm.
lot more like, yeah. It's not
Yeah.
really a sad moment.
Yeah.
And I read it through Libby. So anyone who's a library book, if your library has it, is free. It's great. But it's not sad, more so that it's like her encouraging her father to not give up. Versus in the film, it feels a lot more melancholy that she runs away, slams the door. He sees his watch and is like, oh my God, like we're really late now.
Hmm.
Um, and he has to slow down.
Hmm.
And my heart hurt for him because it's like, I know he does not mean to hurt her. He does not want to
Hmm.
make this a permanent memory. Um, but yeah, he was overwhelmed and
Yeah.
putting the hat over, he yanked it like over her head, like
Hmm.
covering her up like that. Like, oh, that made me so sad. Oh, for both of them, for both of
Yeah.
them.
And when she runs into the bathroom and she locks herself in there, she immediately starts watching the video. And again, we see, or we hear, we don't see it, we hear the YouTube video that she's
Mm-hmm.
watching where it says a whole lot of effort and a little bit of love. And it, like, by the end, we obviously figure out why this voice is so important to both of them. But that's what ends up encouraging him to not give up
Give
and
up.
just go with the hat method and to actually go for it. And so they go, and the montage of the video, like, giving tips, but cheering them on, and then
Yeah.
them like both feeling confident while he's doing the hair. And it's so sweet. This
Mm-hmm.
this it makes me cry every single time I watch, which, like, and I always, when I, teach this, I always tell my students, I'll be like, this will be the first time you guys see me cry in class. It might not be the last, depending on what we read later this year, because I am a crier when it comes to stories.
And
Not
that's a
real life, but stories.
feel what you need to feel. I
Yes.
will tell you, listeners, there is one book that your host is telling me to read. I'm terrified. I'm petrified. And what do I hear in the distance? I hear, you should read the recent book from the Hunger Games. The Hunger
You
Games.
should,
The
Alyssa.
the Hamish prequel.
It's been a
Why does he
year.
drink? He's an alcoholic now, but he wasn't then. His family, his girl, gone. I'm sitting
Alyssa, you
here like,
gotta read it.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm haunted. I'm terrified. You are saying you cried during Hair Love. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, what is that sound in the distance? And it's just like, you should read before the movie comes out. As we were watching Hair Love, and it gets to that point where like the dad is trying again and he's working her way through his hair. He's making her little like
Mhm.
unicorn like
It's so
hairstyle.
cute.
It is very cute, and it's also a real hairstyle. You can
Yeah,
do it. It's almost like a faux hawk, but it's like buns. It is so
it's
cute.
yeah, a bun mohawk. It's
It's so
almost
cute.
punk rock.
Punk rock. If punk rock met unicorn, like just it's
Yeah,
so cute.
if punk rock was
He
sparkly.
if punk rock was sparkly, and like he
Yes.
makes it happen, and you hear like the voice from the video, like you did it,
Hmm.
and um I put the two and two together again. I'm like, oh, that must be the mom or someone who looks like the mom. Like
Hmm.
it's either her or it's someone who looks like the mom. And you end up finding out what they had to get to.
Hmm. And as soon as they get the hair done, they get put their coats on and they leave. As they're leaving the hallway, it's all cleaned up. So you're like,
Mhm.
the laundry basket's been picked up.
Mhm.
Everything looks nice. There's a little flower in the vase in the end of the hallway. They head out and immediately the music changes. And I think the music of this short is just as important as the animation because it sets the tone and it sets the pace so well. Like, obviously, like in music, the drum is the motor of most songs. Like, it sets the pace, whether that be jazz, rock, pop, you know. And here it also does that. It sets the pace of the film and it gets more melancholic, like not like depressed, but like something is like, okay, we're not, where you just are switching from our, like, yeah, you did it. You conquered this literal thing you were fighting in your imagination with the hair fight
Mhm.
scene to now it's suddenly, whoa, it's eerie. It's the mood shifts. And they go into a hospital or they don't go into hospital, but the next scene is set in a hospital and we see this woman in a wheelchair looking out the window, and she is wearing like a nice pretty yellow wrap on her head, and she's, you can tell she's anxious about wearing a wrap, and like she's like adjusting it a little bit, and then in come the dad and Zuri, and we're like, oh, this is the mom. Like, we're like starting to recognize that that is the lady that is on the screen. And it's just like this moment, it's like one so glad that she's alive because we don't, again, don't need a Bambi scenario, like Alyssa said earlier,
Thank
right?
God.
I I wouldn't show that to children if it
I'm
was a
sitting here
Bambi
and I'm like,
scenario.
geez, man.
Yeah.
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 Well, it hit me right in the heart. Right in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
The Jack Black inside me, I had to like turn away. If anyone's ever seen the wrestling movie he did where he turns his back, he's got his white pants on, he like clenches his little cheeks. I was like, what happened to your clothes? They were dirty. That's how I feel. I'm like, oh, I had to like pull away. I had to turn my face away. When the mom is in the hospital bed, I was like, yep, that'll do it. That'll do it. Tears, tears. My face mask I was wearing slipped right off. I was like,
Uh-huh.
woo, this is gonna get you. I will also say that the music production by Joseph Holiday was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The theme of Happy Days that we hear later on is also beautiful.
Yes.
Seeing the mom fidget over her hair wrap made me feel like she's nervous. She obviously misses her family, and she was a child once too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that with the memory, we do see that she loved, and she probably still loves like taking care of her baby girl's hair, and like not being able to do that because of
Mm-hmm.
her health was probably, as an adult, we could put two and two together and be like, that's probably
Mm-hmm.
painful.
Yeah.
The dad probably got the house ready because the mom, he was hoping she'd come home.
Yeah.
And the daughter wanted to look good for her mom, and
And then there's
made me
the added
happy.
layer that like obviously like hair, like we've been talking about, is so important to how we
Yep.
present ourselves to the world, how we care for ourselves, our identities, either, culturally, independently, etc. But also this is her job, we're assuming, because we now
Yeah.
can recognize her face as the person who's on the iPad. So not
Mm-hmm.
only is she like dealing with her personal, like being a mom, not being in the house because she's going through treatment,
Yep.
will your kids see you differently because you don't have hair at the moment? But also it's her whole, like, from what we know, from this inside of her world, it's her job as well, right? This is
Yep.
like so much of her time putting out these videos. And I think it's so important to show that, hair is not just like one thing to her. And the moment when Zuri gives her the drawing, every time, one, it's a gorgeous little drawing, little
Breaks your heart.
artiste, little, yeah, she
Fell
draws
apart.
a beautiful,
Fell
like,
apart like a piece of
yeah,
cornbread. Hot.
yeah,
Not even cooled in the oven. Hot. I fell
uh-huh.
apart. I crumbled. Anyone who's ever gotten art from a kid, you're just like, they love me. And I
Mm-hmm.
love them. This is
Mm-hmm.
hard. Challenge. Not
Mm-hmm.
accepted. Declined. It was too much. It was too much. And like the dad, you can see that like he's trying. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
no. It gets better, guys. It does get better.
Zuri gives her the beautiful
Mhm.
drawing of a portrait, like a side profile, that's the word, of a bald lady who's obviously the mom. And she gives her that, and the mom then decides to take off her cover, and they embrace and they head home. And that's how it ends, which is just so sweet. And then there's like
Tears.
end credits with like pictures of them in the future, and as her hair's growing back. And I'm just like,
Yeah. It's
happily
absolutely
ever after.
beautiful. It is so beautiful because it shows that like her hair grew back as she healed. I'm sitting here and I was like, I must stay strong, brothers. I read the entire Hunger Games and Divergent series and didn't cry. What happened to that strength? What happened to that teenage whimsy? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, I have to keep it together.
Oh,
But
it's
I will
so
say
good.
that though, I could read some hardcore stuff as a kid and I was fine. But as an adult, I'm sitting here now that I have context, I'm
You have
like,
context, you have
oh,
experience.
this is way worse. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is some hardcore rock. As a kid, I was like, this sugar's not
Mm-hmm.
that bad. And now as an adult, I'm like, diabetes is real and anything can happen at any moment, anytime. So, don't take treacherous roads. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. So watching this short film as a kid, I was like, that's sweet. And now as an adult who actually has a parent who's going through treatment, I'm sitting here and I'm like, yup. Yeah, I had to pause twice because I was like, my face mask is falling off. The tears. So, um, it's a beautiful short film, and
Mm-hmm.
if you do like short films that touch on important content. I will also say that the short film, I think it's called Float, is
Hmm.
another amazing one that touches on alludes to like autism or people
Oh
who have
yes, yes.
disabilities. The kid tries to float away and the dad is like trying to, he literally is
Hmm.
floating away and the dad is trying to like bring him back and like to hold on to him. But the kid wants to float and be himself. Oh, also amazing.
That one's also really good. I haven't thought about that one in a while. That one's also really good.
That'll get you to cry too.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. If you
Oh,
want to
it will.
cry,
I mean, honestly, most things make me cry. So,
I
but
hear you.
anyways, Hair Love, just it's an amazing short film, and it was shown at a couple theater releasings like before some movies. It was shown before Angry Birds the movie #2 and Little Women.
Okay, palate cleanser. We love to see that. All
Right. It's because Sony ended up picking it up in 2019, and then it was
right.
published onto YouTube at the end of 2019. But also at the end of 2019, it was also turned into the picture book, which again was written by Matthew A. Cherry, who wrote and produced, etc., the short film. But it was illustrated by Vashti Harrison, who has written a good number of, or illustrated a good number of children's literature books. And I had not read the picture book until I got it for the podcast. And I was surprised that they actually changed stuff in it.
I didn't know that.
Well, like I mean, not changed too much, but like the hair scene or the hat scene. It's like I didn't change much of the plot. It's like in the book. It's more like because it's a different medium, right? It's a picture book. It's a third person narrator, so it's not just, us watching and listening to this really cool groovy music. It's more into like the mind of Zuri. Like it talks about how she feels like a princess when she has beads in her hair. And that her dad tells her that she's beautiful and that he's proud of her. When she has her two puffs, she feels like a superhero. Like these things, again, were not in the short film, but
Hmm.
like they make sense that this character that we know from the short film would feel like this. Like she's a confident young lady. Like she is, even though she struggles with her hair, obviously, in the film, she is not like she doesn't give up. She has a goal. She wants her hair like this because she wants to show her mom that one, she can do it, and two,
Yeah,
that like she can be like her mom,
agreed.
right? And so I do think it's, you know, the way they tell the story in the book, they change it a little bit as far as like more insight to her as a little kid, how she feels when she's playing, which is like very also with the medium of picture books. It's like when I play, I feel great, right? Like that's like you didn't know, but like
Yeah.
in a more poetic way.
It it makes me think about like I think this is going to be one of those books where I like to journal in the during the day and I like to journal at night and sometimes I like to think about the books I read and how they made me feel and like check in.
Hmm.
And like my mom, similarly to Hair Love, you know, I had all these feelings, I had all these thoughts as a little kid, and I would try to speak them out loud, and it's like only it would come out jarbled, and I wouldn't
Hmm.
say words clearly. And my mom would tell me like, you have to pronunciate your words, you have to slow down.
Hmm.
And with my hair, same thing. I would brush and I would like brush, my curls would get straight and then I'd
Hmm.
release and they would spring back. Um, and for listeners who are listening and don't see visuals, like I have a pretty large fro. It's very dark hair and it's very thick and full. It used to be a lot bigger. And even though I am interracial, my dad's white, my mom is black. My dad is also has lots of hair. So I grew up just like having a lot of hair everywhere. My favorite character in Star Wars was Chewbacca because I related to him. I had
Hmm.
hair everywhere.
Hmm.
And I was sitting here like, why isn't it straight or why isn't this product working? I would watch YouTube tutorials on makeup and hair, and like I didn't look like the people I was trying to model myself after. It was challenging. I think that many people out there probably feel the same way. I related deeply to that in Hair Love.
Hmm.
And my mom, the same way she would tell me to slow down with my speech so I can speak clearly and be understood.
Hmm.
With my hair, same thing. I was combing so quickly, I was damaging it. And now as an adult, even though life moves quickly, I've had to learn to find products that work for my hair, to show it love because it's part of who you are. Um, and even though I don't necessarily have my parents by my side, my dad did try. I did relate to the dad quite a bit. I remember my dad trying to help me. Um, I feel so bad. But will always appreciate his effort, and
Hmm.
I appreciate it even more now. And now I'm just sitting here like, that is the ultimate dream, to be able to show your mom or to show your parent or someone you love that independence, that you can do it by yourself. But
Hmm.
that also takes years. Like, that takes a long time to
It's
get
so
there.
long. I couldn't
It
properly
does.
French braid my hair till I was in college.
It
And
takes
my,
time.
yeah, it takes so much time. And both my, not to put my parents on blast, neither of my parents are good at hair. My parents split up when I was very young, and I was in all the sports, and I had a lot more hair when I was young, and I was in ballet and in swimming, and you know, the norms of putting it in a tight little bun, slick
Mhm.
back bun, and in a swim cap without it coming out was not something my hair could do. And my dad and I fought every day. I was at my dad's house on those sports days to figure out my hair and like, and so like in that way I can relate to that, even though, my hair is not politicized. Like black people's hair has always been politicized in the last 250 years of America and other, colonized parts of the world.
Yeah.
And so, like, even though I can relate to that, reading this picture book and watching these films and educating myself, especially when the film came out, was when the Crown Act was trying to be passed. And I forget what the acronym for Crown stands for, but um, essentially the act was to make sure people could not be discriminated based on the hair at school, professional work spots, and in society, because that's been happening to people with, hair that is seen as other by white supremacy since forever, right? And so after, reading these books, even these picture books, right? Like I know I'm watching this film the first time. I was like 25 or 26 reading these, and you can learn things from these picture books, from these things that
Absolutely.
are made for children, even if if it's not quote written for you,
Hmm.
right? You can still learn it. And it's just so important. But um the picture book, I still have it from the library. And some of the biggest changes, one, the illustration is very similar to the film, but it is a different illustrator because the illustrator for the book is not the same illustrator who did the film.
Makes
Um,
sense.
but it's very similar. But there's no like hair battle scene between the dad and the hair, which I think is appropriate for the book because again, the book is really for young children, right?
Hmm.
Where the film is for more anyone, like as a wider audience than the picture book does. And then the other big difference is that they don't go to the hospital. The mom comes home, right? And it still
Hmm.
has that moment, but I do think it's not as powerful in that part of the plot. Like it's still, we still understand why she's watching the specific video. We still understand the implications of why the dad is doing the hair when that's not traditionally the like male role in the household, but
Right.
um which is baloney.
It
Everyone
is.
should be able to do their
It
children's hair.
is. Also, in the audiobook, they also didn't have, it was 4 to 5 minutes. I always love knowing how long audiobooks are in comparison to physical copies. I find that really cool.
Hmm.
But it's like a weird nerdy fact. But there was no discussion of the hospital scene or the mother's illness in the
Hmm.
audiobook. It just touches on like, and mommy and daddy also love my hair. And like,
Yeah.
it's short, and it's a lot more like, for lack of a better word, like, it doesn't reference some of the heavier topics in the film. I
Hmm.
personally do prefer the film. I think that it's important to not only touch on like the youthful, like navigating who you are, but also the challenges and situations that kids unfortunately may have to navigate with parents who are experiencing that.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the film because also the element of storytelling. I think it's important to have audiobooks for children's books accessible for a
Hmm.
number of reasons. Same thing with films, but I will say that I would have liked a little bit of that
Yeah.
reference. But I could see how that would
Yeah.
be challenging. I could see that that would be challenging for young kids.
Yeah, especially like it's a picture book. If it was like a chapter book,
Hmm.
or a little bit longer, because it's just the size of an average, chapter book, I think
Yeah.
it makes sense. And especially because it does like have a little bit where it's like this is inspired by the short, like so it pushes people towards the short.
Hmm.
Um, And then also, I think vice versa, the short pushes people towards the picture book and like,
Right?
helps drive people to go and read because literacy is so important. And it's just very interesting. And also, there's actually a second book that was written called Hair Love ABCs. So it's a board book. And the same writer, Matthew A. Cherry, and the same illustrator, Vashti Harrison, did collabed again. And it was just after Matthew A. Cherry had a baby girl, was when they made it. And so it's an ABC book, like instead of A stands for Apple, it's A stands for Afro. And
I love
like
that.
C was conditioner, E was elastic, F was frizz, J was joy. Like so those words that are specifically for, hair products and just hair vocab for people, like black hair specifically. But also there's like other words like imagination is one of the words. Like, so it's not all specifically about that, but it is just, another touchstone. Um and there was a Good Morning America interview that I watched, which is how I found out about that.
That's so
And then
fun.
right, it was really cute. And then this short was also turned into a mini series on HBO called Young Love. It is a 12 episode show and it takes place after the short. So it takes place after Zuri's mom has come home. And Zuri's mom in the short, we didn't talk about this. Her voice is Issa Rae.
I
Like,
didn't know that.
oh, it's yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't
Once
know
you
that.
next time you watch it, you'll hear it and you'll be like,
Oh,
how did I
you
miss
can't
it?
unhear it. It's the same
Right?
experience with finding out that like Taraji P. Henson was the voice from The Incredibles, where
Yep.
he's like, "Where's my super suit?"
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "The world's ending." That's
Yeah.
Taraji P. Henson.
Uh-huh.
Blew my mind. Anyone who hasn't seen that, see it
Yeah.
now.
Um,
Also, the Crown Act, I found out what the abbreviation
oh,
stands
yes, what's
for.
the abbreviation?
Creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. So the Crown is for creating, R is for respectful, O is for open, W is for world, and then N is for natural hair. So creating a
Nice.
respectful and open world for natural hair. The law prohibits race-based hair discrimination in workplaces and schools.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Which is so important.
that is
It's
absolutely
so important. But yeah, so the miniseries has 12 episodes. Issa Rae plays the mom again. And it follows her as she's getting back to the salon and there's like some goofy happenstance with her practicing her skills, etc. The dad's voice is voiced by Kid Cudi. Yeah. Uh-huh. And the dad is like an electronic music person, producer, and they live in the west side of Chicago. And it's just like, those like kid shows are just like, hey, it's my life in the neighborhood, like kind of like Hey Arnold, but it's like focused
yeah.
on the family, right? And I watched a couple clips that were on YouTube. I'm not, not a full episode because I don't currently have HBO, but
Me neither. I'll be
it
on
like
YouTube.
yeah, yeah. And it looks really cute. The animation is like similar, but a little bit different. Like
Okay.
it's not as detailed, which makes sense. They didn't have 2 years to work on it as much. I'm assuming they probably made
Probably
it
a
a
larger
lot
project
quicker.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm excited to
But
watch the show though.
yeah,
Thank you for
next
the
time I have
recommendation.
HBO, I'm gonna
Hell
take a day
yeah.
and watch it. Yeah.
For sure. And from Patreon, if you ever want to, we could always do like a
That'd be
react.
fun.
We can watch like a show or a movie on Patreon if people want to see our reactions in real time and our discussion. That could be cool.
That'd be fun. Let
Hell
us
yeah.
know,
Why the
listeners,
hell not? Let us
or
know
we'll
if you
just
want
do it anyways.
it. We can have snacks. We can have
Yeah.
snacks. It'll be super great.
That'd be fun. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that could be cool. I
Yeah.
don't know. If you ever want to see
Yeah.
someone's reaction in real time, I love watching those. So
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
sure. But Hair Love was amazing. I would like
I
totally be watching it again.
right? It's so good. Usually, at the end of the podcast, I ask, is the movie a good adaptation? But now I'm gonna ask, is the book a good adaptation? Because it's a movie to book or a short film to book.
I think the heart was there.
Yes.
There are differences, but the heart of the story is still
Hmm.
there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. It was not like a perfect adaptation, but because of the age group, I understand. Yeah. So you're not
The
asking me which I
purpose of
prefer.
it,
The
yeah.
purpose, yes,
The
they aced
purpose
it.
of the book, the heart of the
Yes.
book, I think it
Yeah.
should exist. Is it not reaching all the levels I want it to? No. But I am okay with it also because the short film is on YouTube for free and I can watch it whenever I want to cry and
And
feel
so
good.
is the show. So I'm sitting here and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, like
Yeah.
that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I will say I will not be opposed if this becomes like a when she's a teenager. If they would do another short
Oh,
film
that'd be
when she's a
so
teenager, that would
cute.
be kind of cool. Like if they did like a
Yeah.
trilogy where it's like
Uh-huh.
shampoo, conditioner, leave-in. If the first short film was like the shampoo of like the cleansing,
Uh-huh.
as you know, if the conditioner was like the deeper moisturizing element, okay, I'd love to
Uh-huh.
see that. And then if there was a third film, like a little mini film where she's the mom, she's the adult, and she's like, and her dad's the grandpa. That
Mhm.
that and her mom's a grandpa.
HBO, hire Alyssa right
Come on.
now.
Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. I'm sitting here and I'm like, like you will be the writer. I will be the person who puts all the images together on the screen where it's like, okay, this is the events that this should happen.
Storyboard.
Yes, I will be the storyboard person. You will be the one. And the picture has to have this because the connotation and it'll all work out.
There we go. It'll be perfect.
Yes. So
Yes.
which would you prefer, the book or the film?
The film. It just, both based on like stylistically and emotionally, but also like because I have so many different moments with different students that, we watched and discussed it and analyzed it together. So I just like it, it's always gonna hold on to my heart for that reason, let alone all the other good reasons it
Yeah,
should.
you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed the film, and now I'm even more excited to watch the first episode of the show on YouTube. Um, I'm excited. I think sometimes you just need something like hopeful.
Hmm.
All my books are kind of moody or dramatic, so sometimes I need something a little hopeful.
The world is big and scary, and
Yeah,
sometimes we get lost in it. And so sometimes you just gotta go to the children's section of the library and read some beautiful books.
true. Do it.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah. Thank you, Alyssa, again for coming on. Make sure, listeners, you go and follow Alyssa. Where can they find you at, Alyssa?
Yes, thank you for having me. You can find me on Instagram at stories.and.spoilers podcast. Why did I make it so long? Once again, I will never know. It made sense at the time. So you can find my podcast on YouTube and Spotify. I have a lot of author interviews. I do deep dives into books that I'm reading. I do spoiler talks. I do non-spoiler talks. I do book recommendations from my friends. My longest episode I've ever done was 3 hours. Perfect for cleaning your house, going to the gym, or just going to sleep. And that was with you and my friend Sam. And
Yes,
that was wonderful. That's
it
actually an
was
episode
so fun.
people seem to love it. So I'm like, well, hope you liked it because it's never happening again. But no, it was great. It was a
Ah,
blast. My episodes are very short. But I love having authors talk about their books and their inspiration, and I love talking about the books that I'm loving, from romance to horror. I
yes.
talk about a lot of different genres. So yeah.
I'll make sure to link everything down below and as well as our former episodes on both my podcast and Alyssa's. And as a listener, Alyssa's a great interviewer. I like listening to the interviews. Like whenever you have an author or book that I recognize or like know a little bit about, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get more info. Where's the tea? Thank you, listeners, for listening. Make sure you follow us on all the socials at Read the Book First Podcast. Link below. Rate us 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, don't worry about it. And remember, read the book first.